Imagine a place of perfect harmony, where love and peace ruled, suddenly torn apart by rebellion. A war so monumental that it didn't just affect the heavens, but has shaped the very world we live in today. This war, the war in heaven, was not just any battle. It was the first act of rebellion in the universe. But what caused it? What were the consequences? And how does this cosmic conflict still affect our lives? In today's video, we'll dive deep into the biblical story of the war in heaven, its origins, the key players involved, and its lasting impact on our world. Stay tuned to the end to understand how this ancient conflict might be influencing your life even now. Before the war in heaven, there was peace in the cosmos. God had created an order of angels, celestial beings who served him in worship and obedience. Among these angels, one stood out for his beauty, wisdom, and power: Lucifer. His name means light bearer, and he was a being of immense brilliance and authority. According to Ezekiel 28:12-17, Lucifer was the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. He was adorned with precious stones and held a position of great prominence in heaven. Some scholars believe Lucifer was in charge of worship in heaven, orchestrating the praise that all creatures gave to God. He was near the throne of God and had immense influence. But something changed. Over time, Lucifer began to look not only at the beauty and power given to him, but also at God's authority, which he started to covet. Isaiah 14:12-14 describes Lucifer's inner thoughts. I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will make myself like the Most High. Lucifer's pride became his downfall. He was no longer content being the most glorious angel. He wanted to be God. Lucifer's ambition led him to spread discontent among the angels. He convinced a third of the heavenly host that they too could rise above their station and have power and freedom outside of God's rule. Revelation 12:4 tells us that a third of the angels followed Lucifer in his rebellion, but freedom, apart from the Creator, was a deception. Lucifer's rebellion wasn't just a power grab. It was an outright rejection of God's love, justice, and truth. The very nature of heaven, which had been a place of perfect order and unity, was now on the brink of collapse. A line was drawn, and the rebellion took root. But rebellion in heaven could not go unchallenged. Revelation 12 gives us a powerful image. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. Lucifer, now referred to as the dragon, led the rebellious angels in a cosmic battle against the forces of heaven. The leader of God's forces was Michael, the archangel, known as a mighty warrior in God's army. Michael and the angels loyal to God stood firm against the rebellion. The Bible doesn't tell us all the details of how this battle played out, but we know it was an intense struggle between good and evil, light and darkness. The once beautiful and harmonious heaven was now a battlefield, filled with the clash of spiritual forces. Despite the power of Lucifer and his angels, the forces of good triumphed. Michael and his angels overpowered the dragon, and the rebellious forces were cast out of heaven. Lucifer and his followers were cast out of heaven, expelled from the presence of God. The Bible describes this fall in Revelation 12:9. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Lucifer, once a being of light, had now become Satan, the adversary. His rebellion cost him his place in heaven, his beauty, and his future, but his war was far from over. Banished from heaven, Satan turned his attention to God's new creation, the earth. Here, he would continue his war against God by targeting the pinnacle of God's creation, humanity. After being cast out of heaven, Satan's first move was to corrupt humanity. In Genesis 3, Satan, in the form of a serpent, approached Eve and tempted her to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, directly contradicting God's command. By deceiving Adam and Eve, Satan succeeded in introducing sin into the world, separating humanity from God. This act was an extension of the war he had started in heaven, an attempt to undermine God's authority and destroy his creation. Since that time, the war has continued on earth. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us that our struggles are not just physical, but spiritual. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Every conflict, every temptation, every moment of suffering is a reminder of the ongoing spiritual battle between good and evil. Satan and his forces continue to fight, trying to pull humanity away from God. But the war in heaven and the war on earth is not without hope. Though Satan continues to wage his battle, the Bible tells us that the ultimate victory has already been won through Jesus Christ. Colossians 2:15 declares, "And having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. Through Christ's death and resurrection, he defeated the powers of darkness." Though Satan still roams the earth, his defeat is assured. As followers of Christ, we are called to stand firm in this spiritual battle. Ephesians 6:13-17 encourages us to put on the full armor of righteousness, faith, salvation, the word of God, and prayer, so that we can withstand the attacks of the enemy. Though the war continues, we have the promise of victory through Christ. Satan may fight, but he is fighting a losing battle. The Bible tells us that there is a final battle to come, a day when Christ will return and Satan will be defeated once and for all. Revelation 20:10 speaks of Satan's ultimate fate, and the devil, who deceived them, was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever. On that day, Satan will be destroyed, and peace will be restored to all creation. God's plan will be fulfilled, and his creation will be renewed. The rebellion that started in heaven will be ended, and the universe will once again reflect the glory of God. So, why does the war in heaven matter to you? Because it's not just a story from the past. It's the spiritual reality we live in today. Every day, we face choices between following God's will or falling into the deceptions of the enemy. But we are not alone. The same God who cast Satan out of heaven has given us the tools to stand firm in this ongoing spiritual battle. Through Christ, we have victory, and through faith, we can overcome the forces of darkness. If this video opened your eyes to the cosmic battle happening around us, hit the like button, share this message, and subscribe for more deep dives into the Bible's most compelling stories. Comment below.